Good morning. So I am making my breakfast and I've just finished my therapy session this morning, and I thought actually it would be quite useful to kind of talk about it while I'm making my breakfast, because it's really kind of helped me a little bit. So basically, I didn't really explain yesterday because I didn't really want to get into it, but essentially I'm in a period of time now where I am looking for work. So I don't want to go into the details of that, but basically this is me in my PJs making my breakfast telling you that I'm looking for work. So I was kind of like, with my video yesterday, it was kind of gonna be about like how to be productive and how I've started this new routine this week to keep myself busy, how I've like compartmentalized it into like morning, lunch, evening and plans and things. And that's still the case. Like, I think having a routine is really important. So like at the moment now I've got time, I'm going to the gym every morning. And I think that's really healthy. And then, you know, kind of looking at CV and job searches and all that kind of stuff in the afternoon. And then I'm kind of moving rooms in the house. So it's an excuse to do a lot of like deep cleaning and stuff. Tidying out, moving books and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, that's what I'm doing. But the therapist was kind of talking to me about like, how am I processing things? And I was a bit like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you're in a position where it was kind of unexpected that you're now in this position. And it sounds great and really healthy that you're doing like routines, but what are you doing about your emotional processing? Because it sounds like everybody is, with all the love in the world, they're kind of saying like, you know, are you doing your CV, looking for work, what you're doing? And it really made me think, because at the end of the day, I am productive and I am resilient and I will get through stuff, and positivity is really, really important. But you sometimes, like, when we have things that change around us and we don't ask for it, we are allowed to admit that it feels a little bit disconcerting, and we're allowed to process all those emotions. So I have a toxic trait where I just like to be positive and I like to keep pushing forward, and I just don't like to think about my emotions. But basically the therapist was like, you keep doing this, you keep like avoiding the feelings, and you need to take this time to think about the feelings so that you can be in a better position to move forward. So this was my kind of way of saying this morning, like, it's okay to deal with the emotions, and it's okay to take some time to deal with the emotions, because you can't expect yourself to just be super resilient all the time and just move forward. Part of the process is kind of the grief of what's happened, whether it's a relationship, a job, a home, whatever's happened, whatever you've lost or whatever's changed around you. You're allowed to kind of process the loss as well. And like, this year has just felt like a big year of like grief processing for me throughout my life. And it's okay to feel like you don't know what's going on. You're going to stay positive, but you also need to process all the feelings of, I lost something that I cared about and I invested in. I have fear about the next chapter, but I'm excited about it at the same time. You need to take time to process. So basically the therapist was like, this routine sounds great. I love that for you. But you need to take some time, like you need to journal, or you need to take some time to go for a walk and really think about what you want next, how to make sure that you're not rushing the next process, that you grieve properly that something happened to you, and you make the steps forward incrementally. You don't need to keep rushing like your whole life changed the beginning of this week. It's just Thursday, okay? You don't have to like be super boss bitch and know everything right now. Processing is really important, because if you don't process like you've done this entire year, you've just kind of pushed forward into the next chapter, something will give. So I'm gonna explain later on this week how I'm starting the emotional processing. I think I'm gonna do some journaling and some kind of mindful walks. Obviously therapy is really important because that's a safe space as well for me to talk about stuff. But this video was just to remind you guys that basically it's okay to be positive and productive and like, let's make these plans, but it's also okay to say that time really needs to be carved out to emotionally process things, because if we're not emotionally processing things, we will carry those emotions with us into the next chapter and they'll have to be dealt with at some point. So it is actually really productive and positive to process your emotions, and that's what we're gonna do, okay? So I will give you another video tomorrow with some random insight and tell you how the emotional processing is going, but I am going to make sure I have some time today to emotionally process. But now I'm basically just going to go and eat my breakfast. So bye for now.